And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Welcome to Oklahoma Sports Scene. Here's our guest lineup for the week. Start with Barry Tramel, sports columnist for Tulsa World, talk about the start of conference play for OU and OSU. Our Michael Knight has his weekly high school football report from PrepRedzone.com, featuring coverage of the big Union-Jenks rivalry. Tulsa Public Schools Athletic Director Mick Wilson joins us on set here, talk about the fall prep season and an exciting announcement about a new girls sports program. And the Tulsa Drillers manager Scott Hennessy wraps up the 2024 minor league baseball season. Now let's take a look at our Tulsa World hot topics. Start with a review of last week's football games. And the big four games, Oklahoma State, of course, beating Tulsa 45-10. I gave them a grade A on that. Oklahoma got past Tulane despite a tough second half, 34-19 the final score. Put the Sooners at a B. And Arkansas beating Alabama Birmingham 37-27. Razorbacks got a C from me on that. Here's the lineup for this week. 2:30 Arkansas at Auburn. They start SEC play to the Hogs. That's on ESPN. At 3 o'clock, number 12 Utah, the favorite to win the Big 12 conference. They will take on Oklahoma State in Stillwater. 3 o'clock game on Fox. 6 p.m. Tulsa's at Louisiana Tech on ESPN+. Then at 6:30, the SEC officially starts in Norman, Oklahoma. Tennessee at OU on ABC. Volunteers come to OU after scoring 178 points in their first three games, an all-time record, and game day will be there for ESPN on Saturday morning. Here's the top 20 AP college football poll, a new number one. The Texas Longhorns moved ahead of Georgia with 35 first-place votes. Georgia with 23. Ohio State got the other 5 votes. Then it's Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Missouri, Miami of Florida, and Oregon. SEC, again, 6 of the top 7 in the nation. Oklahoma State 14, OU number 15. On Friday, September 13th, the University of Oklahoma Athletic Department had a special ceremony. They unveiled and dedicated a statue to its legendary softball coach, Patty Gasso. In 31 seasons, Patty has led her Sooner softballers to 8 national championships, including the last 4 in a row. Also on Friday, Coach Gasso became the highest-paid softball coach in NCAA history. The new deal through 2028 will average at least $2 million a year. Hall of Famers led her teams to 15 Big 12 titles, winningest coach men's or women's in league history, and 1,515 victories, more than twice as many as any coach in any sport in history of Oklahoma athletics. Patty, well-deserved and well-earned. FC Tulsa soccer team had a draw and a loss this past week. 2 home matches, a 1-1 draw on September 11th, hosting Las Vegas Lights. Mel Youssef scored the Tulsa's lone goal in the 37th minute. They gave up a goal in the 77th minute. Then last Saturday night, Eastern Division leading Louisville City FC came to Tulsa and shut out FC Tulsa 1-0. The loss left Tulsa in a 3-way tie for 8th in the final playoff spot. They go on the road now for games coast to coast in Rhode Island this weekend. Then the weekend after that in Oakland. And next home match, One Oak Field, not until Saturday, October the 5th, hosting El Paso Locomotive FC. Next, we welcome back in Barry Tramel, Tulsa World sports columnist, talk about all things football, including the conference openers, OU and OSU.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa World, is where it comes to life.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park continues into December with plenty of winning primetime action. Make plans now for Oklahoma Derby Day on Sunday, September 29th. The lone Sunday afternoon of the season begins at 3 p.m. with the richest race of the season, the Grade 3 $400,000 Oklahoma Derby as the main event. The normal Remington Park Racing Week is Wednesday through Saturday. First race nightly, 6:30 p.m. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations.
Around the clock, throughout eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
You've seen the billboards, you've heard the hype, and now it's time for the We Street Ice Center to open its doors and welcome you in. 140,000 square feet, 2 ice rinks, public skating, hockey, arcade, game simulators, and the largest sports bar and grill is sliding into Tulsa. It's the grand opening of the new We Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale. Make your plans, get your skate on, or watch some sports today. The We Street Ice Center, now open and ready to serve you. We Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale.
We welcome again to Oklahoma Sports Scene. Friend of ours, Barry Tramel, outstanding sports columnist at the Tulsa World, longtime veteran of college football in this area. So, Barry, give us your overview so far of this 2024 season as we get ready for conference play.
Well, the Sooners and the Cowboys, neither one can run the ball very well, but so far that hasn't impeded them from their goals, which are to have a great run and contend for the college football playoff, both at 3-0. Sooners, a couple of closer than they would prefer scrapes with Houston and Tulane. Oklahoma State, big comeback to beat Arkansas, but the competition now gets a lot tougher and significantly tougher. So they're both going to have to play better if they want to be those playoff contenders.
All right, Barry, so after that 34-19 win over Tulane, the big question is still, is Oklahoma ready for the SEC as Tennessee comes to town?
Well, I mean, we've been asking that question now for 38 months. What's interesting to me is the question was really needed more specificity. When you look at what we talking about, we were really talking about defense. Were they ready to have the defensive line and linebackers and tough guys that you need in the SEC? And the answer turned out to be yes, they're fine. The OU defense is going to be fine if they can just turn the offense into something they can stand to live with. Nobody saw that coming, but we'll see if that Oklahoma offense can get going. But the OU defense has been all that Brent Venables could have hoped. And if they can figure out a way to get the Jackson Arnold offense going, then, the Sooners are going to be, one of the better teams in the SEC. But if not, it could be a long year.
Yeah, the biggest concerns seem to be the same as we talked preseason, right? That offensive line just really concerns you.
Yeah, they've had injuries and they've not had a lot of cohesion. 4 transfers coming in. So out of the top 7, you got 4 transfer portal guys. And, when Bill Bedenbow hasn't had his entire unit there, they haven't been blocking great. I thought it was improved against Tulane. I thought that was a nice step. Still not what they really need or want, but I think there's reason for some optimism. So Tennessee's a different animal, though. The Volunteers are big time, got a great defensive line. They're really going to get after Jackson Arnold. Oklahoma needs that running game to sort of keep the Vol defense back on its heels a little bit. I don't know if it can happen or not, but that needs to happen. So this offensive line will be the unit that's under the gun on Saturday night.
So Oklahoma State, after a 3-0 start, Barry, no surprise there. They handled Tulsa very easily, 45-10. I guess surprise is what's happened to the running game. Ollie Gordon, the second, of course, the top running back in all the country last year. So far this season, 216 rushing yards through 3 games and just 3.5 yards an attempt.
Doesn't really make any sense, right? I mean, Ollie rushes for, around 2,000 yards last season. Clearly, the best tailback in America a year ago. And you can see when he's running great. There's just no place to run. And OSU had all these linemen back. So something is amiss. We don't know what, whether it's scheme, whether it's the opponent. We don't know what's going on. But the Cowboys definitely need to run it better. You don't want to have to ask Alan Bowman to throw 40-something times a game, throw for 400 yards just to keep the ball moving. OSU's season turned around about this time last year when they figured out a way to run the ball with Ollie Gordon. And it's time for that same kind of laboratory production to occur. If Ollie Gordon could get unhinged and could get loose, then all of a sudden that OSU offense will open up Utah is not the team to be, trying to do that against. The Utes, really tough team. Were sort of the blue collar program of the Pac-12. Won the Pac in 21 and 22. Really established itself as a premier football program. So lots to like about Utah. It's going to be a very tough test for the Cowboys.
Oklahoma State finished their non-conference season, of course, 3-0 with over 1,000 yards passing, 337 yards rushing, though, and surprisingly, again, is 112.3 yards a game on the ground. And you're right, this Utah team is quite a test. They jump right into their Big 12 play, Utah, and then a trip to Kansas State.
Yeah, the Big 12 front-loaded. It's a conference schedule. When you look at OSU playing Utah and K-State, K-State playing Arizona last week, even though it was a non-conference designated game. Arizona and Utah play next week. So if one of these teams can get to October unbeaten in conference, hey, they're going to have a smoother path and could spend most of the year in first place. So if that team is OSU, if they could somehow sweep Utah and K-State, hey, you're looking at a favorite to make the college football playoff. But it's going to be tough to beat Utah in Stillwater. It's going to be even more difficult to beat K-State in Manhattan. Probably the toughest place to play in the Big 12. That was true, I think, even before the expansion and teams coming and going. So these two tests, massive tests for the Cowboys. But this is what you want, right? I mean, the non-conference game, if it's not a marquee opponent, you want to play the best you can find. And this launch of the new era Big 12 with Utah and K-State being OSU's first two games, that's exactly what the Cowboys should aspire. Those kinds of games are what they should aspire to play.
A quick thought on Tulsa, now 1-2 after that beat down they took to Oklahoma State, and on Arkansas, that's now 2-1 heading to SEC play at Auburn.
Yeah, TU, you knew they were going to be in for a rough Saturday. They've got a history of playing Oklahoma State well. Back in the 20th century, you generally came out on top in games on the Tulsa campus. But this is a different time, and that was always going to be a tough one for Tulsa. I mean, if you're a TU fan, you got to look back the week before the game you lost at Arkansas State. Had that game under control a good chunk of the game. That's the game you really wanted to win. Now they got to go steal one somewhere, and that starts Saturday at Louisiana Tech. And the Bulldogs played a pretty good game. They had a lead on North Carolina State, eventually lost 30-20. So I think Tech is going to be a tough one, but if TU can find a way to go to Ruston and win that game, then they're sort of back on par and where they want to be. So I think it's a very important game for TU. You don't want to get down to 1-3 and go into the American Athletic Conference sort of on a downer. So big game, but it's going to be a tough game. La Tech really showed its mettle. When you look at the Razorbacks, they seem to have an OSU letdown. They play in UAB, Alabama, Birmingham on Saturday and trailed the Blazers. Good chunk of the first half, eventually pulled away and won, not in a rout, but in a commanding way. Now they go to Auburn, and Auburn is a team that's played very poorly. This is a game that Arkansas can win, and this is a game that could really, I think, put the Arkansas season back on its bearings and give the Hogs a chance to make a run in the SEC, not to win the league. I mean, nobody's really talking about that, but we saw Arkansas in Stillwater produce a lot of good football, lots of talent. They can win some games in the SEC. This is a team that could make a bowl, but I think they need to win at Auburn to show that, hey, they're on the right track.
More with Tulsa World Sports Columnist. Very timely return. We'll talk more college football and also about a coming out party for a Texas quarterback with the last name of Manning. That's next on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
As the sun rises over eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends. your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family-owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
It's time. Time to get back to the basics. Time to meet up with family and friends. Time to play ball. It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Okay, Barry, now it gets real as we come back and get ready to talk about conference football play. And of course, is Oklahoma getting into SEC play with Tennessee at home. Oklahoma State starting their Big 12 play with the favorite for the win, Utah. Arkansas going at Auburn for their start. And just got to get your thoughts on the overall national picture in college football as Texas moves to number 1 in the national poll this week over Georgia.
Well, I mean, I think the prevailing story is the dominance of the SEC in the AP poll. Two weeks in a row, 6 of the top 7 teams are from the SEC. And, of course, that's Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, Missouri, and Tennessee. And some of that is the way teams have scheduled. Ole Miss and Missouri not going to be challenged for a while. Texas winning at Michigan. Georgia routing Clemson sort of set them up. Tennessee's much better than people thought. I think 191-13 is the combined scores for the Volunteers. But the one thing about the SEC schedule, they're playing an 8-game conference schedule, and they've expanded to 16 teams, which means the best teams are not all going to play each other as much as in the past. So the SEC could have a bunch of teams still in this kind of situation as we go into November and start really honing in on the playoffs. So this is exactly what Greg Sankey wanted, I think, the SEC commissioner. He wants a lot of his teams in contention for the college football playoff, the new 12-team format, and that's so far what he's got. So I think that's the national story, is the dominance of the SEC.
Another story that popped up this week is the incredible play and the debut of Arch Manning, sophomore quarterback at Texas. Of course, he's the son of Cooper Manning, the grandson of the great Archie Manning, and the nephew of a couple NFL stars, Peyton and Eli. He came in when Ewers went down with a stomach strain. They said it's kind of day-to-day right now, but boy, didn't miss a beat. Two of his first 3 plays were touchdowns. He ended up with 4 touchdowns, 3 passing, 1 running. Just an incredible performance for a first-time starter, and he really looked impressive.
Yeah, he did. You know, we've been hearing about Arch Manning now for 2 to 3 years. This is a guy that sort of swam against the grain. Didn't really get involved in the NIL game that everybody's playing. Really said he wanted to go the old-fashioned route of going someplace where he didn't necessarily play early. You know, Eli went to Ole Miss and redshirted. Peyton went to Tennessee, did not start as a true freshman, although he eventually took over that season. But the Manning family seemed to have a script and seemed to have a plan and wanted to stick to that plan, and decided the University of Texas was the place to implement that plan. And so far it's gone great. Sitting behind Quinn Ewers a year ago, didn't play much. Now this year, Ewers gets hurt early against Texas San Antonio. Arch Manning comes on. It sounds like Quinn Ewers will not be out long, but I fully expect Arch to start Saturday against Louisiana Monroe, his in-state, his home University. He's from New Orleans. So the Manning family, in case anybody hadn't been paying attention, seem to know what they're doing. So this one's going according to script, and it's a little bit of old-fashioned football in that you bring a guy along. Every good quarterback thinks they got to play right now. And with the transfer portal, that just means everybody's moving. That's not the Manning way. They had this planned out, and it's going great. And he did look good Saturday. What will be interesting is how long will Ewers be out? They think it won't be very long, but wouldn't it be fascinating if Arch Manning took the field when the Texas offense trots out onto the Cotton Bowl turf there in early October?
That would be something to see. Thinking about that game, what Texas got out of it, well, they got the number one position in the AP poll with a 56-7 win. What poor Texas San Antonio got out of it, right? A $1.6 million guaranteed payout, the all-time record. And one other subject before we leave, Patty Gasso, quite a weekend. They unveiled her statue and also unveiled the fact she'll be the first softball coach in history to make over $2 million. She's worth every penny.
Yeah, I'd say it's a monumental accomplishment, both for Patty. The Sooners have been putting up been putting up statues for quite a few years now. The athletic department. Let's see, 4 coaches, 7 Heisman winners, and the 3 Selman brothers. I don't know if we want to count that as it's just one statue, but 3 men. So you got 14 football people represented, and we've finally got a female represented up there, and Patty certainly deserves it. So she pointed out that her hand's sticking out so fans can slap her hand as they walk into the stadium. There's been certainly enough Sooners rounding third base, slapping Patty's hand over the years after a massive home run. That's a very apt decision on what kind of likeness for Patty Gasso to make. So congrats to Patty. Definitely a sport of softball and a state of Oklahoma icon, Patty Gasso.
Her 31st season of coaching softball at Oklahoma. She has 8 national championships, of course, the last 4 in a row, and she leads the Big 12 as the winningest coach any sport in Big 12 history. Quite an accomplishment. Barry, have a great weekend. Looking forward to maybe answering some more questions as our guys get into conference play. So thanks for taking the time to join us, Barry. We always appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks, Chris.
All right, we'll come right back with our man Michael Knight talking high school football, that big Jenks Union game right after this.
Tulsa Oilers hockey at the BOK Center. The ultimate experience of hockey and entertainment. Save big on season tickets today. Full season tickets starting as low as $17 per month for all 36 home games. Get your season tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets available now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
Around the clock, throughout eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Well, it's a weekly feature here on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Our friend Michael Knight here, of course, with Redzone.com. Man is inside high school athletics. And Michael, the big game, of course, Backyard Bowl, 72nd meeting, I think it was, in Jenks and Union always lives up to the hype.
Yeah, I don't think anybody expected 9-3 to be the final score.
That's the lowest score ever?
It's the lowest score for the Backyard Bowl,
Okay,
which started in like 2004.
Yeah.
I think it's the lowest score between those two since the 80s.
Yeah.
You might expect that halfway through the first quarter, but that was the final. It was 3-0 Union at halftime. I talked with Kirk Frederick after the game, and I was like, it feels like this was just a very bizarre game where the defense really played well on both sides. But then at the same time, the offense on both sides kind of shot themselves in the foot. Jenks had some issues. Union had some issues. But like I said, both defenses played incredibly well. And I can't talk about Friday's game. I'd make almost everybody across the river mad if I didn't mention the officiating towards the end. It was not good. It was not good. Jenks kind of got the short end of the stick on a massive play near the goal line. It looked like they converted a 4th down. Sam Stone made a catch, goes out of bounds. From my angle, it looked like he dropped the ball, or the ball came out by the ground. The ground caused the fumble. Originally, it was called a catch. After a very short conference, it was overturned. Union ball. Several personal fouls later on
45
Jenks.
yards in penalties.
Yeah, they kind of lost it, which I get it in that moment. I understand. You have to have a little more composure, but I get it. It was tough. It's a tough pill to swallow, but you understand that these two teams are probably going to see each other again, and you know that Jenks is not going to forget the way the Backyard Bowl ended this year.
Jenks, of course, with 18 state championships. Union with 9. They're always the top of the list. They're great competitors. And you're right, they'll always meet again. It's funny how the one that wins the first usually loses the second time around.
Yeah, and who knows what's going to happen. You know, last year we saw Jenks sweep the two meetings. They won the regular season. They also stunned Union in the final minute in the semifinals. So you never know what is going to happen. I said that it was kind of a bizarre Backyard Bowl. But that's kind of the definition of this rivalry. Yeah. You never know what's going to happen. Union was down 6 starters. They still won. So it's one of the most unpredictable, but it's also one of the best high school football rivalries in the country.
Union 9, Jenks 3, and that chance to talk to the coach afterwards, right?
Yeah, and he was obviously excited. Also heard from Union quarterback Shaker Reisig, and I mentioned to you before we sat down, I've covered Shaker for a long time, both in season and off season with 7-on-7. And he was more emotional following this game than I've ever seen him before. And we start with Coach Kirk Frederick, but you also hear from Shaker Reisig as well.
Yeah, I thought the defenses, both sides, played really tough. I thought, big explosive plays is what you think about in the Backyard Bowl. And there weren't a ton. There obviously were some scary ones, but I thought the defense played really stingy. Jenks did as well. And you're right, it was a little bit bizarre, but it's hard to say that when you talk about this game.
And I'm super excited. That stuff was really personal. I mean, we all know what happened in the past. I mean, that's in the past. We had to come out here and handle business, and that's what we did.
Well, Michael, most of the big schools have the week off, getting ready for district play. You don't get a week off, though. You're ready to go on this week.
Yeah, so I am taking Thursday off. It's my wife's birthday on Thursday.
Happy birthday off.
So not going to go to a game on Thursday, but I will be back on the road, headed to way out there on the Arkansas state line to Pecola, Oklahoma, where they're hosting Vian in a great matchup between two small schools. Vian, the top team in Class 2A2, Pecola, a top 5 team in Class A1. Pecola actually has one of the top recruits in Oklahoma's 2025 class, Dakota Terrell. They also have a couple other really good football players in their senior class. So they have some firepower that I'm really looking forward to seeing in person. Vian, that's a traditional powerhouse. Over the last 2 decades, there haven't been many more 2A programs that have had more success than Vian. The one thing that they've been searching for, though, during that time is a state championship. And I think now with the way the splits have happened in the class, with 2A being split into 2 divisions, that has opened the door for Vian to be a true state championship contender. I get to see the Wolverines on Friday and figure out just how serious they are.
Michael does a state high school football poll every week. What are some of the highlights of the poll this week? Any changes?
No, not as many, just because it's non-district play. I don't, for example, perfect example is Davis in Class 2A2. They're my number 2 team in 2A2, but they've lost their first 2 games. But the two teams that they played, really good 3A teams. So how do you weigh those two things? So there haven't been as many changes in their early rankings. I think that you'll see more changes coming in district play once teams start playing other programs within their same class. You know, if a team loses to a team that's 2 classes ahead of them, I'm not going to take too much away from them.
You know, at the inside of high school athletics, where do they go?
PrepRedzone.com/Oklahoma. You can follow us on Twitter at PrepRedzone. Okay, like I said, we'll be at the Pocola game on Friday. We also have our YouTube channel that has all the highlights if you want to see more from Jenks Union. I was also at Carl Albert Lawton Eisenhower last week. All of our game highlights that we shoot are up on our YouTube channel, Prep Red Zone Oklahoma. By the way, Carl Albert, seeing them last week, 70-0 winners over Lawton Eisenhower. They look dominant, and they have a great game this week. They go on the road to face Stillwater, and we just saw Stillwater a couple weeks ago beat Union in overtime. So that's going to be one of the best games of week 3. So while a lot of the giants like Bixby and although Bixby's playing this week, Union, Owasso, Jenks, they're taking the week off. There's some really good games across the state in week 3.
Friday night, PrepRedzone.com. Come right back with more high school to talk about with Mick Wilson, Tulsa Public Schools Athletic Director. Give you an idea of fall sports and also about a new sport for the ladies coming to TPS.
You've seen the billboards, you've heard the hype, and now it's time for the Wee Street Ice Center to open its doors and welcome you in. 140,000 square feet, 2 ice rinks, public skating, hockey, arcade, game simulators, and the largest sports bar and grill is sliding into Tulsa. It's the grand opening of the new Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale. Make your plans, get your skate on, or watch some sports today. The Wee Street Ice Center, now open and ready to serve you. Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale.
Winning action continues throughout the summer at Remington Park. Simulcast racing begins daily before noon from the top tracks across North America. Jackpot play is always available as the casino is always open. Mark your calendars now for the 2024 Thoroughbred season at Remington Park, starting August 16th and continuing through December 13th. Winning racing and casino play every day at Remington Park.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene. It's the start of another school year. It's a busy time for our guest here, the Athletic Director of Tulsa Public Schools, Mick Wilson, who, by the way, is in his 16th year with TPS. His 4th year as the AD. And Mick, it's a lot more than just 9 high schools, isn't it?
It's a lot to handle, but I tell you what, it's enjoyable. A lot of work sometimes, and a lot of different headaches. But it's always at the end of the day, you're always trying to do what's best for our coaches and mainly for our kids.
Yeah.
We want to do a good job and perform well for them and help them navigate a lot of tough times.
I know the title as Athletic Director was also activities as well. Talk about how many schools, how many students, athletes are we talking about in the whole program?
Well, you know, we're talking about 9 high schools,
right,
and that offer the full complementary of sports. And then with our middle schools, we've got 10 middle schools. And again, a lot of coaches, a lot of student athletes, and a lot of moving parts. So many things of what we do depend on transportation, depend on administration and different things across the board, but we're always trying to do something positive for our kids.
And I've been so impressed with the quality of the facilities that always seem to be improving for TPS.
Well, you know, the good thing about it is you know, we're trying to do our best and put our right foot forward and build good facilities that still maintain good fiduciary responsibility. And, you know, I know that there's other districts maybe have some things that are bigger or better or some things like that, but I think with the landscape of where we're at in 5A and 4A, I think we're in pretty good shape. Obviously, there's some things that I would like to see us improve on, and I think with our new administrative philosophy with Dr. Johnson and Dr. Dodd in place that we're going to be able to make some of those strides in order to have some better facilities and better equipment, just across the board. But not that we're in bad shape, but we want to always improve and get better.
Impressed too that Tulsa's Nathan Hale has got our first indoor practice facility, right?
Yes, that's actually going on as we speak, Chris. We've got the ground cleared, starting to build the foundation and some things. It'll be an indoor soccer with some track running lanes. Also have a practice gymnasium as well, turf and indoor turf. So it's going to be a nice facility. Looking forward to see how this comes out and what we do as we move forward. But it'll be the first that we have, no doubt.
The last TPS school to win a state football championship, Booker T. Washington, back in 2017. And much has been talked about of how difficult it is for the TPS schools to compete against the Big Four, the suburban schools. We're talking about Jenks, Owasso, Bixby, and of course Broken Arrow. But to me, we do so much of what we have, and I'm very proud of that when TPS is done.
I'm proud of our coaches. I'm proud of our facilities. Like I said, we don't play those folks on a regular basis. Obviously, they're all 6A and 6A2, so we're going to continue to try to find our spot where we belong in 5A, and that's whether it's Booker T, Memorial, or anyone else. So we're going to continue to try to get better. Never satisfied with where we're at, but I tell you what, our coaches do a great job. They work hard, and looking forward to making some strides in football, no doubt.
I was impressed that the stipend for coaching is very competitive at Tulsa Public Schools.
Well, our stipends are in a good spot. Again, when you compare to where we're at statewide, you look at the reports that we have to turn in, and then we're in good shape. We haven't always been that way, but we'll continue to get better there as well. In fact, I got a stipend meeting again tomorrow, so we're going to continue, especially with the cost of living continuing to increase. You want to make sure that your coaches are compensated fairly and well for the amount of hours that they put in. And you'll never be rich doing it, but our coaches do a good job and deserve to be paid accordingly.
Mick Wilson, our TPS athletic director, his 4th year. And Mick, I think we're all familiar with the impact the portal has had on college athletics. It's had a heck of an impact on high school athletics too, as a lot of these guys aren't recruiting high school kids anymore. And you're competing in your own level, got to keep your athletes at TPS schools that are going to the suburbs.
Well, I've had a lot of people go back and forth of where they think that hurts us or it doesn't hurt us. It's really not new to us, and I say that, Chris, because the OSSA has allowed 9th graders to go wherever they want for some time now, several years. And so, in fact, I kind of look at the opposite, that some of our kids leave thinking that there's something better out there as 9th graders.
Yeah.
And we've already done really more paperwork on kids coming in than the kids that we've had to send out paperwork of them leaving the district. So I think it may work out for us in the long run to be better. But again, that's not all our coaches feel that way because they lose a key player or two. Sure. But I think over time it'll all level off and you'll see a little more equality across the board.
Just had a meeting at the TPS Center there with Mick, talk about our Hall of Fame coming up, of course, always popular, and the Legacy Foundation. It's really helping raise money to help our programs.
Well, the Legends Foundation was something that came to fruition several years ago, and again, it's a great group of folks, Chris and you included, on the board. And again, just another arm for our district to have some resources, and it's gone really, really well. Our Legends Foundation president, Kathy Barkley, is just a phenomenal worker and a great supporter, herself being an Edison alumni. So again, it's just another arm for us to be able to help our coaches and our student athletes be successful.
What are some other fall sports that TPS has going right now?
Well, cross country obviously is a big thing, and volleyball across the board. We had all-city volleyball just this past weekend, and cross country, again, volleyball, softball, and some things like that going on.
And very exciting news about a new sport for the girls.
We had an idea a few years ago that I really wanted to start flag football for our females. And as you watched NFL games over the last couple of years, the initiative has been really big, obviously becoming an Olympic sport. Now you're seeing a lot of NAIA schools in Division II offer flag football for females. And so we had our first camp this summer. I had a partnership with former NFL star Donald Driver. Is really helping us up with his Driven Foundation. And we've had a couple NFL teams reach out that want to support us. And so basically we're putting together a football league, flag football league for our young ladies that will encompass Bishop Kelly. So we'll have 10 teams, and games will start here in about a month. And we'll play a shortened, abbreviated season of 6 games. It's going to be an exciting time, but I think it's going to offer our young ladies an opportunity that maybe don't play a particular sport. So we are able to attract some folks that maybe will be new to interscholastic athletics.
Mick, you're also always planning for the great year-end event, the Tournament of Champions.
Always. I've been working on that the last few days as well, Chris, and it'll be another outstanding year. And I tell you what, I just can't thank our folks at the BOK Center enough for bringing us in. They took a chance on us, but I think now we've become a staple of what they do over Christmas time and during the winter break. And looking forward to another outstanding year. Lots of great teams, a lot of good coaches, a lot of great players, and looking forward to that. It'll be this year. It falls on a strange date. It's the day after Christmas, so it'll be December 26, 27, 28. And the one thing I don't like about that is we'll probably have to have some teams travel on Christmas evening. It's not always ideal, but we'll make sure that we take good care of them when they get here.
Well, they love being, I'll tell you. It's really is like kind of the Hoosier story here. Small against the bigs.
Always, and we always have a good first round game, and then some of them sometimes are not so close, but the kids enjoy playing. You know, if you're from OK, Oklahoma, and you're going to play in Owasso or Booker T, Washington, you look forward to getting up and having a chance to play against those guys. And at the end, if it was a close game, you feel like you still had a victory. So we'll have some games like that. And again, sometimes you have some that are a little lopsided, but then on day 2 and day 3, it seems to even itself out, and everyone leaves with a good experience.
Our TPS Athletic Director, Mick Wilson, did a great job. And of course, again, it's always about the kids.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Appreciate it, buddy.
You bet.
Good to work with you. And of course, we're going right back with Scott Hennessy, Tulsa Drillers manager, wrapping up the 2024 Texas League baseball season right after this message.
Tulsa Oilers hockey at the BOK Center. The ultimate experience of hockey and entertainment. Save big on season tickets today. Full season tickets starting as low as $17 per month for all 36 home games. Get your season tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets available now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
It's time. Time to get back to the basics. Time to meet up with family and friends. Time to play ball. It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
Oh, just back from Wichita in the final series of the 2024 Texas League baseball season, our manager of the Tulsa Drillers, Scott Hennessy. Scott, welcome as always.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you back here.
Made it through another year.
A lot of games there, and give us kind of an overview of the 24 season.
It was a good year. Didn't win as many games as we wanted to. That is what it is. We had 19 guys. I think that's probably the most since I've been in Tulsa since 17. Go to AAA.
And that's your main job. Keep moving them up.
Yeah, 2 in the big leagues.
Wow.
Justin Robleski.
Yeah, sure.
Ben Kasparius. Robleski's Oklahoma State product.
Yeah.
And sky's the limit for him and Kasparius. And Dalton Rushing, Alex Freeland, Taylor Young had good years. The new guys that came up were good and felt good with it. We just didn't win as many games as we needed to win to make the playoffs. 137
games in the Texas League season here, and a lot of travel, but I was so impressed with the Dodgers. You do it first class.
Always. We have the chefs.
I love that. And they travel with you?
They travel with us. Sent Deanne home a couple steaks
nice.
Yesterday and had that for breakfast, some steak and eggs today. But Dodgers do it first class and great organization.
The last series this past week in Wichita, and we had something to play for, the Propeller Trophy. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's a thing they came up with 4 years ago. We've won 3 out of 4. Technically never lost one. We tied the first year and they won the last one, so they gave it to them. But won it 3 straight years, and we had to win 3 this week on the road, which is tough. We hadn't won a series in a month.
Right.
But we won 4 out of the 6 games, and just happy with the guys. Good work group. Guys kept grinding. They kept fighting all year, and feel good about the future with the Dodgers and the players that are coming.
Springfield Cardinals won our division here. What's it look like for the playoffs in the Texas League?
Springfield and Arkansas are going to play.
Okay.
Both of those, it's a 3-game series. I look for it to go 3. Both those, they have good starting pitching. Both teams grind out their at-bats. They're tough outs. They can run a little bit. It's going to be a really good series.
Strength and weakness of this squad. I know the batting average was quite low for this team.
Yeah, the strength of the team are the upside in the players, like Dalton Rushing, Alex Freeland,
right.
Noah Miller, who just came here about a month ago, one of the best shortstops in baseball. Gordon Lockwood Powell, one of our catchers, had a great year behind the dish and at first. Taylor Young, who played 3rd and 2nd, actually led the league in stolen bases, had 47. Wanted him to get another one yesterday, but Hammy was a little tight. He played, just couldn't get a bag yesterday, but led the league in stolen bases. So we did some good things. Our velo with the Dodgers is, a #1 thing with us.
Sure.
We definitely throw hard. Wish we could have thrown more strikes this year, but the guys that'll be back next year, I think they will.
And if anybody else is waiting for a call up for the Dodgers, it's this guy right here, Scott Hennessy.
We'll see
what happens.
happens.
Here, they've had you up there the last few years,
yeah,
right?
We'll see what happens this year. Hopefully they get a bye in that first round, and I'll know I'll go up there for at least a few days, and we'll see. But let's just get the regular season over, win that division, and whatever happens, if they need me there, I'll be there.
And for the Dodgers, they've reached a point now where it's World Series or bust.
It is. With the amount of money that we have spent, the players that we have, we got to at least get to the World Series, and anything can happen there. But let's just take it one day at a time, and it's a good ball club.
But boy, it's a fun club to watch. How special is this Ohtani?
Saw him in spring training, up there for a month, whatever it was, and I just never seen. You see a lot of things because those guys are special players.
Sure. Yeah.
And then he does stuff that you've never seen, and what was surprising to me is how fast that guy is.
Yeah.
He's so big, and the power, he has so much power, and he's one of the fastest guys in baseball. I think he's at, 47 stolen bases right now?
And he's at 50-50 mark,
Yeah,
right?
could get there, throws 100 off the mound, and just a generational talent. Well, I can't imagine seeing anything like him ever again.
Now, will the Dodgers be tempted to pitch him at all in the playoffs? Or?
It's a really good question. I don't know if you saw Dave Roberts said it wasn't out of the question.
Good to hear.
You know,
how's Ohtani feel about it?
Well, he's working every day. He's ahead of his throwing program, and like Doc said, it's not 0% chance.
But next year he's on the mound, right?
Yeah, he'll be ready. He'll be ready in spring training, and looking forward to that because he throws 100, splitter, slider. I mean, just 3+ pitches. So.
And we'll be ready too for 2025. It all starts April the 4th, a Friday against Northwest Arkansas. So are we making plans for the 25 season, Scott?
Yeah, we are looking forward to it. Kind of went over just a little bit with the roster maybe for next year with our farm director the other day, and already looking ahead and looking forward to 25.
You Driller fans, get in touch with the Tulsa Drillers. That's, of course, at tulsadrillers.com or the phone number 918-744-5901. Get those season tickets right now. Some good deals on season tickets for 2025 Tulsa Drillers. Thanks for a great summer of entertainment. We've actually done a great job sending 19 onto the next level of Major League Baseball and 2 playing in the big leagues, right?
Yeah, this year, yeah.
Tulsa well represented. All thanks to Scott Hennessy, one of the best there is in Driller baseball here. Come right back with our Remington Race Report from Oklahoma City when we return.
Tulsa Oilers hockey at the BOK Center. The ultimate experience of hockey and entertainment. Save big on season tickets today. Full season tickets starting as low as $17 per month for all 36 home games. Get your season tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets available now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
As the sun rises over eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
All right, Thoroughbred race fans, mark it down. A week from this Sunday, the 29th of September, it is the $400,000 Grade 3 Oklahoma Derby at Remington Park. Don't want to miss that one for sure. Some of the top trainers in the nation, including the #1 trainer, Steve Asmus, is bringing horses there, along with guys like Kenny McPeak and Michael Maker and Brad Cox. It should be a tremendous field. Let's now go to the Remington Report with Dale Day on trackside in Oklahoma City. Take a look at a champion jockey making a return.
Jockey David Cabrera is back and enjoying his trips to the winner's circle here at Remington Park. The Jones, Oklahoma resident has once again returned from injury suffered here last fall. Cabrera became well known for his Remington Park success, winning 4 consecutive riding titles from 2018 through 2021, and for being the jockey aboard Welder, guiding the Speedy Gray to multiple stakes wins and a new all-time win record at Remington Park with 16. However, the past 2 years have been tough on Cabrera, as he has dealt with injuries that have required long rehabs. Cabrera was unseated in a turf race at Remington Park on September 21st, 2023, breaking his femur and keeping him out of action until late spring this year.
The only place that I feel comfortable, it was on the back of a horse. For some reason, I was just feeling perfect. And actually, to ride a race, I always feel like really good. Maybe a little ouchy coming out the gates, but you know, the recovery, even coming along pretty good. So after this meet's over, I'm planning on going and taking the screws out, but I feel really, really good.
Cabrera came into the current Remington Park season refreshed and energized as he tries to return to his former spot at the top of the standings.
Honestly, my goal is just to leave this meet safe. It's always on every rider's head, you know, if we can get the leading title. If I get it this year, this will be my favorite one of all because, you know, coming back and like I say, I'm on a good steam and I feel like I'm riding good right now. So my goal is to maybe finish on top. We'll see.
So far, so good for Cabrera, as he is once again climbing the jockey standings, racking up a riding triple on September 11th to help his cause, winning on Sweet Carrot Cake, Mina, and Paparina. Through racing of September 12th, Cabrera is third in the standings with 14 wins. Stuart Elliott, the 2023 leader, has the front spot with 23 wins, while Floyd Wethy is next in second with 16. Thoroughbred racing continues at Remington Park, Wednesday, September 18th through Saturday, September 21st. First race nightly, 6:30 p.m. The Thorough Enduro online contest is underway. It is free and easy to play. Just go to remingtonpark.com, click on the Thorough Enduro button. Cash prizes on the line, and also a possible trip if you hit the grand prize to the National Horse Players Championship in Las Vegas in March 2025. You must be an NHC Tour member to win that seat. You can get membership at a discounted rate at the Thorough Enduro site. Oklahoma Derby Day quickly approaching, Sunday, September 29th. First race 3 p.m. on the lone Sunday of the year. The Hat and Tie Style Contest, part of the festivities, that begins at 3. Free to enter. Big cash prizes in multiple divisions there. Also, the Wine Tasting Festival on Oklahoma Derby Day begins at 3 p.m. as well. At Remington Park in Oklahoma City, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sportscene.
A lot of excitement in Tulsa this past week as Oklahoma State, the Cowboys, came to Tulsa to play the Golden Hurricane. Great rivalry, picking up more games coming up in the future. Our man Thomas Wakiesnik was at the game to capture some of the excitement and the thrill of a big weekend of college football in Tulsa. Next week on Oklahoma Sportscene, we'll recap the start of conference play in the SEC and the Big 12. And Mike Carter, longtime athletic official at Old Roberts University, will be here to talk about his son Scott Carter's great foundation on display here in memorabilia at the Wee Street Ice Center. Until then, as we always remind you, be a good sport.